All right, my man. So, Mr. Kirk, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, my man. How are you? Pleasure to be here.
Can't complain, can't complain. Thank you for joining us. Really wanted to get your insight into where you feel you've seen the most impact from following the program, essentially, right? Where you're seeing lifts, where you're seeing if there are any challenges because of the program, definitely want to explore that as well. But definitely want to really get your experience and how and where it's helped you most. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's start. Give us a little bit of background, where you're from. You know what I mean. Your bio here. Run through that real quick.
Yeah,
Married, kids, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead.
got you, bro. Yeah, so John Kirk is my name. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. Been working out roughly, throughout my entire life as an athlete. But as I grew into my older age, it kind of went to the wayside with business as that started to take more precedence and more of a focus. But always stayed physical, right? Just always would say I went to the gym. But background is pretty much, athlete through high school and then just sales, entrepreneur, business owner, family dude, three kids, wife. All kids are busy in sports. I like playing sports with them. I like being a fit and active dad. I want to be the best dad I could possibly be, best husband I could possibly be. I know that there's a big difference in separation in husbands that are vibrating at the top frequency possible versus those that are just not vibrating at all. And I know where I want to be clearly. And that's why I attach myself to you and to the Legion. I saw your videos, I saw your content, got to feel your energy, your vibe, and just quickly clicked with you and then got tapped into the community. And it just was, right from the start, you see immediate results, which I'm sure we'll get into, and which is why, we're here today.
Exactly, exactly. How long you been married?
Well, we've been together a lot longer. We've been married. We're about to have our 4 year anniversary actually, November 30th, coming up here in 11 days.
Nice, man.
Yeah, man, but been together since like, high school days.
Nice, nice. And you got three boys, right?
Three boys, 9, 8, and 3.
There you go. I know a little something about that.
Yeah, I
We're just a
mean,
little further along down the road, 13, 10, and 7. So a little bit of overlap there.
that was
But
another thing that also gravitated me towards you as well, because I know like, three boys it's a lot, right? Like for the mom and for the dad. And if you can manage three boys and have a successful life on all different pillars, your health, your wealth, your finances, your spirituality, your overarching, your personal relationships, things like that, then it's proven, right? Like, because you see all these other gurus out there that are ripped with six packs and they're 17 years old saying that they're coaching people on how to build big lives. Meanwhile, they've never even experienced life. So it's big for me to be with somebody that talks the talk and walks the walk and has a family and leads a family as well. And you've helped me so much in leading my family as well. It's not just the physicality aspect, right? It's also the
right,
mental game, which is the discipline, where the discipline comes from, right? It's not
exactly.
reality where it comes from. It's the mental game.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So let's talk about the nutrition, right? Because that's everybody's question, and that's 80 to 90% of any fat loss equation is really dialing in on your nutrition. So we started initially what back in April or so, and you did well at first, and then business got involved, and you jumped back into that and really building up your companies. I think you have three of them now, right? That you've built up at
Yeah,
least.
we built up three, sold two of them to the one. So then that was the one, and then we started a fourth one. So really, I have two companies right now. One of them I'm not involved in, but the anymore, but it's being ran without me, and the other one I'm very heavily involved in.
Right, right. Yeah, and that happens, right? We see that a lot in life. Stuff comes up and tries to pull us off course, and inevitably it happens to even me as well, right? But how were you eating before? Was there a system that you were following? Were you doing macros or calories, or were you just trying to eat clean like a lot of people?
Bro, like it's night and day. Like now that I'm smiling because I'm laughing because like I'm literally drinking my salt water right now for dinner because I'm going on a 48-hour fast right now. And just thinking of like how this I never thought this would be possible back then because I didn't have a schedule for eating. Like back then I would literally wake up, I would what I was doing is I was in a different regimen. I was coaching with somebody else where I was tracking my macros. So I had the MyFitnessPal and every morning I was eating egg whites, avocado, like brioche toast. So I was eating healthy. Um, but then by 2 hours later, I'm fucking reheating ground turkey from like the nights before. And then again later that day, 2 hours later, I was eating more of that same ground turkey and the baked and like the mundane activity of eating, I felt lethargic during the days. I
Mhm.
my production sucked, my energy sucked. I literally wouldn't be sitting here with you talking. I would have been dreading like even coming on a podcast at this hour after having eaten all the food that I would have eaten all that day, my energy would have been non-existent. It's literally an energy game, right? So like
Yeah.
my habits were garbage. There were no habits. I was force feeding myself in order to hit my macros and I was tracking and I would get so excited when I'd see, oh, I came so close to my fats. I came so close to my carbs and I came so close to my proteins. Yet I still feel like shit at the end of the day and I can't see my abs.
Right.
And like what's going on here? I'm not having any like kind of strength building happening. It was just a stagnation of focusing on the eating. The eating became the one and only thing where now the energy is like the one and only thing. The clarity is the one and only thing. And like I get to eat as like a treat, to be able to nourish my body. And I really hold those times as sacred, very
Yep.
sacred times compared to before when I'm like, how can I get my 5 meals in? How can I get my macros no matter what shit I eat? I'm just tracking macros, not really thinking about what the energy of the food was before I ate it. It was,
Right.
what I mean by that is it freshly cooked? Or has it been sitting in the fridge for 3 days? That's dead food to me that's in the fridge. I don't eat leftovers anymore. I eat freshly cooked food. That's it. If not, then I won't eat anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was in that same boat, right? Doing macros and 99 one lean ground turkey for
Oh,
4 or 5 meals a day and
garbage.
maybe a little bit of broccoli or some asparagus or something to help everything keep moving through. And
Yeah.
that shit is just, it can work in the short term, right? It can get you quick, not quick results, but it'll get you short term results. The problem that I experienced, and I think you had it too, is when you try and give yourself a little bit of freedom after you've been so rigid and so tight and hitting this box every single day for months, when you try and get a little bit of flexibility and freedom back, I gained, shit, it was like 3% body fat in 30 days. I went from 7.1 at my leanest tracking macros up to like 10.4 in 30 days. And that to me was like, what the fuck? I put all this effort in. I was super rigid, super disciplined, and then I try and enjoy life a little bit, right? And boom, the scale jumps and everything's didn't gain it all back, but it's real frustrating and it really kind of fucks with your head, right? Like you're like, fuck, I did all this stuff. Am I gonna have to eat this fucking pencil eraser? Because ultimately that kind of turkey, that ground turkey, that lean is like eating pencil erasers. And not having that ability to, when I was doing that, I missed my kids' birthday parties. I didn't get to have cake with them. And
Oh,
that kind of shit is really it's not acceptable to me, right? You and I are both big family guys. We're all about creating that experience for the kids. And when dad is not able to participate in having cake on their birthdays, that's not the kind of experience or memory I want to leave my kids with, right? So that's really what drove me to experiment with myself and find something else, right? Find an alternative approach that is going to be sustainable, that is enjoyable, like you're saying, right? Because food is important in life, especially when it comes to families, right? There's celebrations, there's occasions, and pretty much every fucking time there's food, right? So you want to be able to partake in that.
yeah.
And doing macros, you miss out on a lot, right? Counting calories, the same kind of thing. You miss out on a lot because it has to fit in your little box. And if it doesn't, well, you can't touch it. Otherwise, the world's going to end, right? So it's this approach has given me freedom. It's giving you freedom. Like I see you light up when you talk about it, right? Like that feast at the end of the day is something we look forward to, right? And it changes it, just like you said, from, oh, I have to eat all this shit, from a task or a chore almost, to something that you look forward to, and it's a reward, and you get to sit and enjoy the meal. It's more of an experience than something you got to get done real quick and then run off to your next task, right? Or go out and do something with the kids real quick. So you shovel food in real quick. You don't enjoy it. It's just something that you have to do. And that approach just sucks. Like to be straightforward, it's very restrictive, and that's not a way to live your life, right? We have a finite amount of time here that we need to, one, obviously we need to be disciplined, because the most disciplined version of us is the most valuable version of us. But we also have to be able to enjoy life, right? Like it's not about being so disciplined that you always do the right thing and you're never moving around, or you never have flexibility. That's just not sustainable. So I love that you're feeling that. You get the energy, right? When we're tapping into the fat stores during the fasted period, talk about the clarity that you felt, that you were telling me earlier.
You mean the clarity that I feel right now?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And just to touch back on that, dude, like what you said, it's huge. I eat whatever I want. Like I eat whatever I want when I feast. And, it doesn't affect me negatively. It actually helps me. And I don't eat like crap. I eat good whole foods. Like I'll go to the butcher and I'll literally, when you think of the word feast, I'm gonna feast. Like tonight, I'm not feasting on anything but just salt water and like the undisputed nutrition dragon juice. That's it. I have one dragon juice today. And then I killed that. That kind of lasted me throughout. So I woke up my workout, black coffee, then workout. Then I did the dragon juice um, to kind of sustain me throughout the workday, right?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And now that like the family's up there eating dinner, I'm like, I'm feeling so good. We're already, I'm like, I'm gonna roll for a 48 real quick. So I just did another full thing of salt, of my zero light salt. And then tonight I'll just go ahead and crush another dragon juice and I'll be straight, dude. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
I have so much work I've got to do today that I've been doing today. And she knows I'm downstairs in the basement, just chopping it up, just burning the oil, working. You can't do that when you're eating food. You just can't. And you might say, oh, yeah, I got to eat my meals per day, but you're not going to be as clear. Your output of production is not going to be as high as mine. And I mean, I might even hit another workout tonight just for the hell of it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Just because I feel that good, I feel that clear, and I know my body is wanting it. Like at the gym today, I was just like, I couldn't wait to get in there. So the energy level, this is a lifestyle, y'all. This is not like a diet, it's not a fad. It's the way that our ancestors lived for hundreds and thousands of years and how we evolved to be who we are today. You'll be okay if you don't eat dinner, right? Like if you get yourself in a cycle of eating shit, your body's going to crave the shit. Just like when you do bad drugs, your body craves the bad drugs. It craves whatever you give it consistently. So if you give it consistent time to rest, it's going to crave that more. And that's where my system was like, yo, bro, you need a little 48. You haven't done a 48 in like a month, right? And like my story, like I'll do good for 3, 4 weeks, I'll kill it, and then I might fall off or something for a little bit, and then I course correct immediately and get right back on. And I'm like, whoa, bro, I just learned all this just from that falling off and course correction. So now when I fall off now, my course corrects are so much smaller
Right.
before I can get back on, right? So
Yep.
for me, watching you and seeing your body transformation is the most inspiring for me, and the way that you lead your family and the results that you get and the way that you attack life and your mannerisms and the way your dispositions are all very stoic ways that I like to operate within my family as well. But like you got to walk the walk to talk the talk. You show your body, bro. You show the workouts. Like you show the consistency, the disciplines. You don't tire. It never fails. And that's where I'm like, damn, my man is just super consistent. So that pumps me up to be even more consistent. So I'm like, let's go. Like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Let's go for more and let's push. Because remember my first 48s, I was like blown away at like the way I could eat two like New York strip steaks, two potatoes, and like some broccoli, but everything you hear on YouTube says you should be gentle when you break your fasts. And you're like, bro, how do you feel? I was like, I feel like I want to run through a wall like an hour
Right.
after I eat it. So it's all experimentation, and I think that's what a lot of people are lost on is trying things for themselves. They're always quick to Google it, hear a review from somebody, try it out. You'll see how you feel. You're not going to feel better than when you're fasted. You're going to feel clear. Are you hungry? Of course, right? But like when you're hungry, you accomplish things.
Right.
You make progress in your world versus being full. Think about that word. I'm full. I'm done. I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep. It's not time to advance. It's not time to progress when you're full. So, I like to go to sleep after I eat,
Yeah.
right? Like when I'm looking to accomplish things, I like to be hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you touched on something that's most people don't really acknowledge is that food is a drug, right? It affects our internal biochemical and hormonal state just like any street drug would. So
Yes.
when you realize that, there's a reason why you have those cravings, right? For the fucking Doritos or the cupcakes or whatever kind of shit it is. And it literally is a drug. So as you start to transition and wean yourself off of that, there can be withdrawal symptoms, right? Some people experience headaches, shakiness. A lot of that can be mitigated by what you're drinking, right? Salt water, essentially. Electrolytes are are slept on, right? Most people don't really know what they are. Most people don't take them on purpose, right? You'll get salt in your food, which salt is primarily the main one that we want, especially in a fasted state. It's still going to facilitate your neurosynapses, right? The brain firing, connecting, talking. That's where you get that clarity is because you're not eating food. The stomach is referred to as the stomach is referred to as our second brain, right? The gut is our second brain. So when we give a break from digesting, that's really how you get that mental clarity, right? The firing or the connection between the nerves in your stomach connect directly to your brain, and it's like a super highway, right? And the salt facilitates that even more. So when you are going through a fasted period, most of the time people think they're hangry, right? They're, oh, I need to eat, otherwise I get pissed off. I used to be that same way. But in reality, what that turns out to be is most of the time it's a salt deficiency. You're lacking electrolytes. So when you supplement with those electrolytes throughout the day, like you said, after your training, that gives your body and your brain what it needs to operate at a high level, which is why you're able to bang out high levels of production between the various companies that you run while still showing up with that good energy for the wife, right? Because ultimately, when it's time to take off Jay Kirk's hat and put on dad and husband hat, you have to change your energy accordingly. And most people struggle with that because they can't leave whatever's work is, that work energy, they can't separate from that. They don't leave it at the door. But because you supplement with the electrolytes and you're not in that digestion mode, you're able to be in control of your mental state more, right? Like you become more self-aware and you're aware of how your energy is perceived, what kind of energy you're putting off, just like you were talking about earlier, right? You have to have that high level of energy, especially when you come home as dad, because kids are running up to you, jumping on you as soon as you come through that door, as soon as you walk upstairs, right? Same thing for me. As soon as I walk out of my office into the living room, dad, let's go to the park. Let's go. Like I've already been asked a couple times and I'm like, hold on, let me get this call done and we're going to go afterwards, right? But it's very important to be self-aware because most of us we don't realize how often we're snacking, how often we're going to the pantry or to the fridge just to grab something, right? And part of this approach, it pushes your self-awareness to a level that you haven't been at before. And that applies not only to your snacking, but your energy, your habits. You realize you're doing all these things that make you feel a certain kind of way, and that's not the way that you like to feel, right? So how are you what impact, that's a better way to say it, what impact have you seen with your family in the way that you are able to bring a more positive, a higher level, a stoked up, ready to go, fired up kind of version to your family? Have you seen a change in that with the new nutrition approach?
Yeah, absolutely. We all are now going in the same direction with like working out, you know what I mean? Like just through me being more dialed into my nutrition and my wife, I think just seeing my transformation with my body, I've definitely slimmed down. I've lost a lot of fat. I've melted fat. I was at one point 212, 220, right? I'm down to one. I got down to 165, but I'm like hovering at like 172, 175. I would imagine I'll be right back down to like 168 by tomorrow morning. I have a feeling because I haven't hit a 48. And when I do 40, I can get down to like 160, 165. If I wanted to, I could cut down to 155 and I can go fight Conor McGregor right now.
There you
I mean,
go.
look
Yep.
down, fella. But just to think like that's how you can really rip up while building strength at the same time, the right way.
Right.
Like like you talk about the spikes in the glucose, like when you eat and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing, my family, they saw me being very intentional about when I wanted to spike that and just like waiting until that time, spiking it, and then stopping after that 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then I'm done. Right. And then the digestion, like it's your body's spending 22, 23 hours not eating and maybe like an hour, hour and a half eating. You're going to melt the fat off your body when you do that, and you're going to boost your muscle as long as you're working out with intensity. Like that's the biggest
Right.
misconception, is that folks think I could just fast and I could just be dormant and not move because I need to rest my body. That's not how it works. Like you're going to have a soft body. Like you need to go through the fire and forge yourself um, through that, through hard workouts and intense workouts. Like you mentioned, the salt is a big thing. My wife drinks the salt with me, the zero light. She likes the dragon juice now. We both work out. My kids are active. They've always been active. But now that they see that my energy levels are much higher, that demands more from them, where they'll be like, wow, dad, I know dad will want to play. So let me go ask him. So I'm like, all right, I gotta, go
Yep.
out and like do what I got to do. And it just feels good to have, just not beating myself up when I don't get things done these days. Like, because I have the workout regimen within the Legion. Like today was abs and back. I was able to just look at the Legion, just be like, all right, cool, abs and back. Boom. I already had that in my mind that that's what I wanted to do today. I was coming off of a really good meal last night after a 23-hour fast. So today, I'm going to do a 48-hour fast, right? So I got a 24-hour fast and a 48-hour fast, and then I'll break my fast tomorrow night on Wednesday with a really good meal. Don't know what's going to be. I'm probably going to do some meat from the butchery. Probably my wife, she's like, oh, here we go again with the steaks and burgers. But I love homemade fries, homemade burger. I'll eat two potatoes. I'll eat four burgers, like
Right.
if I eat burgers, or I'll eat two steaks, right? And then I'll wake up that next morning and I'll murder another workout, right? And then I'll do it all over again with like another 24-hour fast. So it's truly, like you said, a way of life, dude. You can't knock it till you try it. I think that there's very few people that are leading the charge other than you when it comes to this, and of course your mentors that you work with.
Right.
But man, it's changed everything. Where I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. I'll be honest with you. I think like I awaken, my body awakens and turns on and becomes alive when I fast. When I fast,
Yeah.
my body wants to go run. It wants to go work. It wants to melt fat and it wants to optimize the hormones. It wants to build muscle. It wants to release those ketones. And I want to get real spiritual and shit, dude. I start picking up the Bible, bro. Like,
Yep.
like tomorrow morning, I'll wake up. I guarantee I'll be reading the Bible because I won't be able to sleep. I'll be wired awake at 3 or 4 in the morning, waiting for the gym to open at 5. So I'll get time with my black coffee. I'll get time with my Bible. I'll go to the gym by 5 when it opens. I'll beast a crazy workout out. And then I'll be really looking forward to my feast tomorrow evening.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
for sure. And you were saying you had a shoulder injury there for a while, right? Like you couldn't lift your arm past 90 degrees almost, and anything overhead was real painful for you. I think that's kind of resolved, right? Yeah.
yeah, so I did for a while. It was a very bad labrum tear and supraspinatus muscle tear. Um, and then it became the AC joint, bro. So for us, when I started, it was my AC joint that was really bothering me. Because doing certain workouts with intensity. I messed up and I did like, 3 days in a row by hitting my shoulders. And I was doing, you caught something, bro, on my bench press is actually what it was, dude. You saw that I was flaring my arms out and I didn't have them in when I was doing my bench press
Yep.
because I was posting my videos. And I gotta tell you, dude, like you may have saved my shoulder from me having surgery. Because had I had kept benching while increasing the weight, there would have been a pop there. So, bro, that's what it was actually. I put that two and two. I don't know if I ever told you that, but you really saved my AAC joint. And now what my benches are all going up because I'm actually utilizing and recruiting my actual pectoral muscles
Right.
instead of my joints. Think of that, all right? I was benching like that instead
Yeah.
of like this.
Yeah, and that's a common thing though, man, is people think you flare your shoulders out because that's a natural movement, but it that's led to more injuries. Like you could tear your pecs, but specifically the shoulders, right? Like
Fine.
putting
Yep.
all that stress just on that joint is not good, right? So and
So
and
yes. Yeah.
what also has helped you, and I know this because I had a similar shoulder injury last summer, it's really allowing the body to
To heal
heal
itself.
itself, right? Like that is the biggest thing. And when we're constantly eating, you're not allowing the body to switch over to essentially healing mode, right? Part of that is autophagy, where it goes in and breaks down, old cells that live past their life expectancy, spewing toxins, all that kind of shit gets cleaned up, broken down. But it
Yeah.
also allows blood flow, right? And one of the biggest things for healing is getting blood flow to the injured area. And with fasting, it promotes blood flow to all areas of the body. Now, when you talk about blood flow, and specifically for us guys, we typically hold our weight, our fat in spare tire and love handles area, right? And you can do this now, and I'll do it. But if you put your hand on your love handles and then you put your hand like on your chest, your love handles are going to be a little bit colder, right, to the touch. That's because blood flow is not getting to those areas. And that's why even still, where I have my fat, and it's not that much anymore, but where I have it is a little bit of love handle and right at the belly button kind of fat or spare tire area.
Yep.
Fasting promotes blood flow. That is why macros. I wasn't able to get rid of it then. That's why calorie counting, paleo, whatever kind of diet that you're taking, it's very, very hard to tap into those areas because you're not promoting blood flow, right? And fasting is one of the best ways to get blood flow throughout the body, right? So not only is it going to tap into those fat sores that are hard to lose, but it's going to heal the areas that need it, right? So your shoulder, my shoulder, all of that is healed up. And I did the same thing with you that I did with my shoulder, right? Heat, compression, and fasting. My
That's it, bro.
shoulder's good, you're good. Like, so
Yeah.
there's like, it's not just the food approach, right? Because like you said, and I've said a million times, this is a lifestyle. And that lifestyle encompasses fitness. It encompasses the faith aspect, right? What you're talking about, relying on a higher power. When you get into a longer fast, us as humans will typically crack, right? We're like, fuck this. This is hard. I want something comfortable. Give me some food. That is really for me. That's when I tap into that higher power. That's when I pray. That's when I'm like, hey, God, give me a little bit of extra strength here to get through this. I want to knock this 3 day fast down. I need just a little bit right here. Right. And it also helps build up that mindset, right? Because it is a challenge. And I don't know, as humans, we're either growing or we're dying, right? And we don't grow when we're complacent. We don't grow when we're sitting on the couch stuffing Cheetos into our face, or when we're just being complacent. We only grow by challenging ourselves. And so there's that aspect of it as well, right? You're challenging yourself mentally, and then just the base layer, right? And why we leverage the training and the nutrition is to build that discipline, right? When you follow the training plan, and it could be as simple as doing daily walks, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be weights, although I prefer weights because we all should have muscle. Men and women need to have muscle, especially as we age. Um, it's paramount, right? The more muscle mass we retain later in life, the less neurodegenerative issues we have, right? Alzheimer's, dementia, that kind of stuff. It doesn't logically make sense, but the studies have shown the more mass you carry into life, the later you push those off, if at all they show up. And fall damage, right? We've all had grandparents. My two of my grandmas, both of my grandmas had fall damage, right? One fell and broke her hip, the other one fell and broke her arm or something like that, right? And for one of my grandmas that broke her hip, that ended up leading to ultimately her death. So muscle mass is huge, right? And that discipline that we get by following training, by following nutrition, we're able to apply that discipline to everything else, all the other pillars of life. When it comes to money, you're now disciplined, you're smarter with your money. Comes to faith, you're more faith based, you operate at a higher level there, you really tap into the source more, and you become a better individual overall. I think what you've done is really awesome, honestly. Like, because a lot of people struggle with it at first, right? Because it is vastly different from what we've all been programmed with. Eat at least 3 meals a day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Honestly, probably the best marketing campaign ever. Um,
Yeah.
but
Seriously.
at the end of the day, when you build that discipline, you are a more valuable individual, especially for your family, right? Because now you're this beacon, you're this lighthouse, like I like to say, that is always there, right? You're always shining your light, no matter what storm is hitting, no matter what's going on around you. Your wife, your boy is going to look up to you and be like, Dad's still there. Dad's still doing his nutrition. He's still eating the same way. He's still being physical, doing workouts, running, walking, lifting weights, whatever it might be. I know dad is going to be there for me. And as a father, that is super important, right? Because shit is guaranteed to fucking come. I guarantee it. You know, my situation with my wife who came down with epilepsy last year. We're about 17 months into this shit now. And had I not been able to build and establish a high level of discipline prior to that, I would have lost my shit. My kids would have lost their shit because the one dad, the one adult in the house who's not having a seizure right now is losing his shit. It just makes the whole situation worse. So,
Correct.
real life application for this kind of stuff, right? And you mentioned
Absolutely.
earlier, I wanted to talk about this too. You mentioned optimizing hormones, right? So we specifically target insulin and growth hormone with this approach. You mentioned also adding muscle because of the approach. Typically, or not typically, but the vast majority of adding muscle is exactly like you mentioned. It's based on your training. However, you can optimize your hormonal environment, specifically insulin, with the fasting. And when we optimize insulin, insulin's the master storage hormone, right? It tells the body to store. So if you're essentially kicking off a shot of insulin first thing in the morning, everything you eat throughout the rest of the day, your body already has that store signal in. So that's how the traditional approach leads to fat accumulation, right? And then you combine that with the shit processed foods, it's just a shitstorm to add fat. But when we intentionally manipulate insulin by keeping it low throughout the day and then spiking it intentionally at the end of the day with a feast of good quality ingredients, exactly like you're explaining, you combine that with the training, specifically strength training, that is how you're going to tap into your fat for your fuel source throughout the day, but you're also going to add muscle at the end of the day because the body, when you do feast, is going to send the vast majority of that nutrition to where it needs it most. And if you've been training, your muscles are where that nutrition needs to go. And so the body is an incredible creation. It knows that I need to repair, I need to restore the glycogen, I need to heal my muscles. And so it diverts most of that nutrition there. So even somebody that's not on the obese side of things can actually do a what's called a recomp. So burn fat and build muscle at the same time. And that's all because of the way that we handle the nutrition. And I know you've seen that. Your shoulders are starting to get bigger, dude. You're getting a little traps growing there. And I'm seeing your strength go up too in your lifts.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. What are you seeing strength wise? Are you where have you seen the most strength? Has it been in a specific area or is it overall? What give me a little bit of insight in there.
Yeah, I mean, my back and my legs are getting real strong. I took a little bit off my chest because of my shoulders, so I took time off I'd probably be upwards of, where I am right now benching, but my pulls, my squats are crushing right now. Everything with my core, my posterior chain, my abdominals are extremely strong. As you know, like I've definitely got abdominal muscles now. Was able to see my six pack 3 weeks after working with you and doing it. And then started feeling like I'm bulking a little bit, like I'm building muscle, like I'm building strength. So you can really bulk on the one meal a day. You can
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
that is a bulking plan right there. If you're looking to cut, you got to like really cut and chisel up. You could throw some 48s in there and a 72 here and there, and you'll cut up. Just like you see, like Dana White can do a 48 hour, 72 hour. He's got a six pack. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's
Yep.
doing the same thing. With the intermittent fasting, the one meal a day, he's doing that as well. And that's why you're seeing his gains.
Right.
But nobody's talking about that because people don't make money when you don't buy their food and you don't eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and 5 meals a day and this and that supplement.
Right.
So the gains have been really cool, man. Like I'm benching more than I've ever benched. I'm squatting more, pulling more, pushing more. And I'm not even like working out as long. It's just the intensity of when I work out with the compound movements, the lifts, and then being able to work out fasted, you'll be able to push pull, and just do a lot more than you
And
were doing.
that goes back to the blood flow, right? Our blood flow when we're fasted is significantly better. And so what happens, scientifically is that you're bringing fresher blood, more oxygen to those muscles, which allows you to push harder, maybe do a couple extra reps or even throw an extra set in, right? And so the fasting actually facilitates you pushing harder in training. It's the
Correct.
weirdest thing mentally for most people to understand, but when I'm like on day three of a 72 hour or 3 day fast, I train harder on that third day than the first 2 days. It's a weird thing and it doesn't logically make sense. But again, we use biofeedback, right? You were talking about it earlier. We didn't call it out, but the way your body feels based on a certain thing, right? Your body's telling you things based on food or based on training or your hydration. It communicates to you. The problem is, most of us are so unaware of the communications, tying back into self awareness from earlier, that we don't realize our body is trying to tell us stuff. So by pushing into this and really understanding that your body communicates to you, you're able to leverage that better, right? You're able to push in certain areas. You're able to understand, well, maybe today I shouldn't push as hard. You just really elevate your self awareness, and that is one of the best features of this approach. We can't change problems, we can't fix things unless we're aware that there's an issue, right? And when we're following the masses and stuffing our faces all the time and grabbing takeout real quick because it's easier, or really just eating that shit kind of food, it doesn't allow us to hear that communication. It doesn't allow us to reach that kind of self-awareness, and therefore you're not able to really figure out how to fix your problem. So
Correct.
again, because of the lifestyle approach, right? Because of the lifestyle ramifications, that's a better word, of this approach, you tap into that self-awareness. You're able to see where you're having issues. And it could be relationship kind of stuff. You could be like, I am being an asshole right now. That is the reason why there's a rub in this situation, right? Or
Yeah.
I should have handled that differently. Like, you're able to be more retrospective looking back, and you're able to evaluate stuff more clearly going forward. You're because you have a heightened sense of awareness, right? You're aware of everything that's going on. You feel the energy of other people more. You're more aware of that. It allows you to be a better person, really, at the end of the day, because you're sacrificing, right? You're sacrificing food, you're sacrificing your time by going to the gym, and it's really elevating your vibrational frequency. And when you elevate your frequency, you attract a better quality life, you attract a better quality people into your life. It really, the term is kind of overused, but you level up everything, right? And the more you push into that, the more you feel it, right? And again, this is energy, this is other people's energy, and it just really changes your whole perspective on life in general. And you were telling me that earlier today on our call, that you're seeing that kind of thing in your life where now you're able to feel things more, right? You're able to be more aware of your son's doing something, or you said something and your wife had a different response. You're like, okay, course correct myself, and then you move forward, right? And that's, for me, that was one of the biggest things, is really understanding that not just the nutrition but more so the personal development side of challenging yourself to be a better individual benefits your family more than it does you, right? It's not about you, it's about who John needs to be for John's wife and his three boys, right? And when I saw that light bulb go off, when you're like, that's it, right? And ever since then, you've been a soldier, man. Boom, 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 knocking shit down, going after it, running at the danger kind of approach, right? And as a dad and husband, your family feeds off that, right? Because they know, again, earlier, like we said, you are a disciplined version of you, this more disciplined than you were before we started, and I'm watching that increase day after day. You're not missing training, you're not missing the feasting, right? And it's really, from my perspective, it's really fucking cool to see somebody jump into this and say, fuck it, I trust you, I'm going to follow what you say, and I'm going to see how it feels and how it works with me. And then to watch you actually do it, because a lot of people talk, right? More people talk than actually take action. And for you to be as successful as you are running these businesses, creating them, building them, and selling them, oftentimes there's a disconnect between that kind of mindset of going out and conquering and building and making money, and tying that into the person that you are. and how you operate and how you view life, right? Most of those kind of successful guys, and I was there doing when I was doing lending and investing, where it's I got to keep running, I got to keep chasing that dollar. Where's my next deal? Where's it going on? Meanwhile, your family suffers a little bit. Your health definitely suffers a little bit. I did. I got up to like 222 pounds. I'm fucking growing a little bit of titties and had the gut hanging over. It wasn't pretty, right? But then when you realize that that version of you is not what your family needs or is not what your family deserves, that's a better way of saying it. When you know they deserve that best Jake Kirk and you know that you're lagging in areas that are vitally important to them, it fucks with your head, right? You're successful monetarily, which is great because that allows you to do a lot of things in life. But for us, being family centric, when our actions or inactions have a detrimental effect on them, it kind of discounts all that financial success. And you were telling me that because you've dialed in on your personal development, specifically your health, all of the pillars that you have in your life are now operating at a higher level.
Everything is dialed way, yeah, way more than ever before because of that. And you're right, man. Everybody's definition of success is different, but my definition of success is freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it with who I choose to do that with, and that's my family. And that's why I think the approach that we've adapted to just, put family first through the lifestyle of not stuffing your face with food all the time, it's really quite simple. But it's so hard to conceptualize for most people because they've been conditioned at such a young age to continue to eat so much all the time. If only anybody and everybody knew that the one thing that could dramatically change their world and impact their families' lives for the better would be to really consider this strategy of the one meal a day, of training, of focusing on the certain disciplines that will force you to level up. It's not like causing you, it's not compel, it forces you. You're forced and you're thrust into a new world, like tying back to what you were saying when like the third day and like how you push harder on that third day. It's interesting because I take that back to like us starving for 2 days, hunting for 2 days, and then on day three, we find something, and it's like, bro, we're gonna go as hard as we can to get this. Like, your body has to be able to go to that extra level. It has
Absolutely.
to be able to go to that extra gear. Even day four or day five, you'd be able to do that. But once you start getting past the law of diminishing returns, that's why we stay within the 48 to 72 hour window, because that's when you get the greatest return.
Right.
So,
Yeah, specifically physically, right? And when you push past that 72, that's when you get more into the spiritual benefits of this, right? Because 3 days sounds like a lot for most people that haven't done it before, but there's guys that I work with. There are like my coach and his business partner, I guess you call him. These guys run 5 day fasts like it's breathing
wow.
oxygen, right? And by pushing into the 5 and the 7 day, and I think I was telling you earlier about the Indigo Challenge, um, or maybe that was Pete right after you. But there's these things that these kinds of challenges where it's beyond the physical, right? Because the physical is just a byproduct of dialing in your mindset and pushing yourself mentally, right? And I've said that since I started this. Your external appearance is a reflection of your internal state for 99% of the time, right? Barring some kind of medical issue, all that kind of stuff,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And the more disciplined and the higher you see yourself, or the higher you hold yourself, and the more disciplined you are and the more aggressive you are with pushing yourself, your body's going to reflect that, right? So when you dial in, the body dials in. Dial in mentally, body follows suit. Where the mind goes, the body follows. We've all heard that, right? But when you push past that kind of 3 day threshold, that's where you start to get spiritual. That's where you reach this new level of clarity, of consciousness, and you really do connect on a higher level, a higher frequency to God, to the source, to the universe, whatever your belief is, right? But you tap into a higher level of consciousness, which gives you this kind of unreal
Euphoric.
feeling and clarity, right? Of just like,
It's euphoric.
wow, this is exactly euphoric is a perfect way of saying it because you're now experiencing what it is to connect, where most of us will never
Get there.
experience that. Going to church doesn't get that to you. Reading the Bible doesn't get that to you. It helps you connect, but when you're physically sacrificing food for your mental benefit, it does something internally. And I believe it is because of the direct connection to the source, right? And you feel
Absolutely.
this kind of euphoria, like you mentioned, where it's honestly it's hard to put it into words, right? It's something that you need to experience in order to fully understand the power that is there. So I have a plan here in this next probably 2 or 3 months to do what's called the Indigo Challenge. And that's a 5 day fast with a break, 4 day fast break, 3 day fast break, 2 day fast break, OMAD, and then a 12-hour silent walk. No podcast, no cell phone, no music, nothing. Right. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to drop a bunch of weight, but that's not what this is about. Right. So I guess what I'm saying is there's levels to this, right? Once you get comfortable doing OMADs, we have to push into more. We have to push harder, right? So that's when you roll 48s. That's when you bring in a 72.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm doing. Yeah.
exactly, right? So you're making the progress. You're stepping up and you're leveling up each time, but there are severe levels to this, right? And there's guys that'll do a 21-day fast, and there's guys that do
Yeah.
this real high level shit that I haven't even touched yet, right? My longest is 4 days. But there's always a way to challenge yourself to that to get to that next level. And again, like we said earlier, if you're not challenging yourself, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And what a better way to challenge yourself than to withhold something that everybody depends on daily for survival, right? If you can detach yourself from the power of food, think of what that does. And you experience, right? How does that make you feel? Like for me, it makes me feel extremely powerful. I can go days on end without putting food in my mouth when most people can't go more than a couple hours, right? So it instills this kind of power and force inside you that you know you can do some hard ass shit. And that gives you a confidence and a level of self trust that everybody should feel. What's been your experience in that?
Yeah, dude. Thinking about it like that really lends some real perspective on it. It is a very powerful tool where I've already felt like I was separated from most people when it comes to just being able to do hard shit. I like to do hard shit. I'm fascinated by experiencing things that are scary to other people, right? Like I like to experiment with, with mushrooms and drugs in high school, right? Like, but most people didn't like that, right? It still fascinates me, right? I still might eat a mushroom every now and then because, I experiment and
Sure.
I learn and I download and then I act accordingly because I had that experience that I would have had to be able to extract that information from before. So I'm a scientist of my own life. So like help where you helped me the most was my course correcting, getting not getting down on myself if I fucked up. Like I'm a human. We're all fucking human. None of us are perfect.
Right.
But the difference, bro, between the elite levels who are not perfect individuals versus the average are that they course correct quick. They're just quick to get right back on. They don't miss their workouts. They don't miss their meals. They're doing what they said that they do to make their commitments happen. So like I'll choose not to eat if it's a bad meal. Like, like it's already dark out tonight. Like for me to go order something tonight, not be in control of who's preparing the food, or I'm not going to a great restaurant. I could order Baja Fresh and just say, yeah, I got to get something in. No, I'm gonna go the night. I'm gonna do some more dragon juice. I'm gonna allow my body to detoxify and to cleanse itself. My shoulder, I re-aggravated that because I was the bicep connects to the shoulder to that AC joint, and I've been really going hard on my biceps, trying to force them to grow. That aggravated my AC joint because I hit shoulders the day before. So this 48-hour fast, I'm gonna go put some heat on it, maybe a
Yep.
little stim. And then, tomorrow I'll have the rest of the day to fast and then break it tomorrow evening with whatever I choose to do it with. And that's where that, autophagy will start to happen like right now, where hour 24 starts to come into play. So I'm excited about the ability to heal through building muscle, through having clarity, through having energy. It's the ultimate life hack. It truly is. It's the ultimate life hack. Being connected to you, I think, is an ultimate life hack because, you learn to really live while still fucking building. And that's where I was like, holy shit, this is enjoyable. For the first time ever, I give myself a break like I just had my wife's 40th birthday, right? Like I drank some fucking Casamigos tequila, right? Like I was chilling, just sipping, but healthy. I was very cognizant. I'm not going to drink a bunch of beer and bloat my shit, but I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I had cupcakes, I had cake.
Right.
I'm not afraid, and I still got a six pack. I can eat whatever the fuck I want. Show me somebody else that eats whatever they want all day long and has a six pack. They don't. It doesn't exist. You can only find the individual that does the OMAD diet, that has a six pack, that works out with intensity and is ripped, rich, and rare, right? In all the different areas of their life. You can't get that unless you dial in first on what you're putting into your mouth all day, every day. That is straight up, like you said, and this is the most important takeaway that I hope people take away from this is that you're eating drugs all day long, right? You're consuming harmful chemicals and drugs by eating McDonald's, by eating food all day long, because your body, your stomach, it doesn't know the difference between food and a drug. Think about it. When you eat a pill of Advil, your stomach processes it and then it goes to work. Same thing when you eat food, your stomach processes that and goes to work. Therefore, your stomach doesn't know the difference between food or drugs. It just looks at it all as a drug.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, I think we gave them enough for today, man. We've been on almost an hour, so I appreciate you coming on. You have any last words for the people?
Yeah, man, I would definitely, join the Legion, align with our Legion, align with our community. And if you would like to take yourself to the next level, where if you're having issues right now, dialing in your energy, your muscle building, your fat loss, your relationships, your finances, your mental well-being, your emotional, spiritual, pretty much if you want to have a better world, I would just encourage to just meet with you, just like I did. For me, it wasn't right away. Like I met with you at first, and I was like, "Bro, there's no way I'm gonna stop eating three, four, five. I'm eating 5 meals a day." And I combated you a little bit, but you were so awesome through that process to me. Like you're so like just chill and supportive. And like I had some shit going on with my family and you talked me through that. Like you just provided value without any expectation of what you got in return. And therefore that won me over, bro, because that's the way that I operate is I like to provide value to other people without any strings attached. And as a result, my world is amazing because of that. The universe just continues to reward me. So, you were one person that I gravitated to out of a sea of thousands that just always operate with their hand out. So, I would just encourage anybody that's thinking about leveling up their health, their well-being, and all that, and having that bleed over into all different areas of their life to, head on over to meet with you, send you a DM, go to the Legion, join the free Facebook group, the Level Up Legion on Facebook. Check out what we're doing. Like, check out the community. Look at the freaking meals that we're eating. You're gonna drool just watching it, right? And then you're gonna
Yeah.
see the workouts that we're hitting the day after, and you see the results. You're just gonna want in with that. So yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be connected with the community. I feel like we've only just begun. We're just getting warmed up. I'm just starting to really hit my stride and figure this stuff out. I'm chiseling fat. I'm building muscle. I'm eating what I want. I'm having clarity. My businesses are thriving. My relationships are thriving. My children are thriving. Everything is going well, and it's all about just doing the small things daily good, the disciplines, the habits, and making sure that you stay consistent with it over time, and then you'll start to see the results as well. But first thing first, just join the Legion. It's a free group, you know what I mean? And just get
Yep.
exposed to the movement.
That's right. Well, that's a perfect ending, man. I'm gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate you joining me, Jay Kirk. I know it's late where you're at. Go enjoy that family,
Appreciate it, bro.
and I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks for coming on,
Yeah.
bud.
Later, bro. Peace.
Bye.